What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Kind of a boring day here for me. We are at the process of giving the SAT, and I am a hall monitor. So I am sitting in a hall all by myself. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw my post or not earlier today. It was my transformation pick, or where I came from. So what I want to talk about isn't that exact thing, but what I do want to talk about is people's unrealistic goals that they set. What do I mean by that? People think that since it's taken 2, 3, 10, 15 years to put on the weight and accumulate the fat, they think that poof, it's going to come off within a matter of weeks, months, whatever it may be. That's why I share my story when it comes to the journey that I embarked. It wasn't easy. I never gave up in the process. I spoke in an earlier video that I knew what the end goal wanted to be, but I set smaller goals to get to that end goal. Therefore, it didn't seem like A to Z was so far. That's kind of the problem that we have a lot of times, and why we falter off track. People think that it's going to happen within a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. It took thousands of years to create that masterpiece. So the same has to go with your body. If you keep pecking away at it, whether you're an ectomorph, a mesomorph, or an endomorph, and you want to gain muscle, you have to keep working. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. That's part of growing as a person in the process, and also growing your body. It doesn't happen overnight. I was pretty fortunate because I already had that muscular base even when I was fat, larger, whatever you want to call it. And please understand that the results that you saw in those two pictures are not typical. I'm not saying that to say you can't get there, but what I am saying is, if you understood my mindset, it's very, very driven. I went for approximately, I would say 4.5 months, so 18 to 20 weeks, without having a cheat meal, without asking for a cheat meal. Shelby Starnes has a great quote out there, and it says, "No, you don't need a cheat meal. Your entire life up to this point has been a cheat meal." Think about that. You don't need those things. You want those things. I understand. I understand temptation. I understand the want to have those things, especially if they've been in your life for so long. But you have to have the self-discipline to say no. I remember I received an email, and my coach at the time had asked, had I had a cheat meal? And he said, when was the last one? I don't know. I don't think we've had one yet. And we had been working together for 16 weeks. And he said, okay, well, I want you to go out this weekend. He said, what's the worst thing that you've had? And there's a restaurant downtown Detroit in Midtown called Selden Standard. And it's really not that bad. I think I had a vegetable carpaccio, and I had a lamb, I think it was a lamb ribs. It wasn't anything bad. And I told him, he said, that's the worst thing that you've had? I said, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I knew the goal. I knew where I wanted to get. And so nothing was going to stop me to get there. So what I'm saying is, please don't expect the dramatic weight loss, or the 10-pound drops every week. Your first initial, part of your weight loss journey, whether you go on to keto or you just lower your calories, intermittent fasting, whatever it may be, you're in a deficit. And when you put yourself in a deficit, you have to understand that that's all that you're doing is you're creating a calorie deficit. Therefore, you're going to lose body mass. Your first week is typically stomach volume and water. Okay, your body's accustomed to so much sodium when you first start. Therefore, it holds on to the water. So when your first week happens and all of a sudden you have restriction, guess what? Water's going to fall off. Yes, you've lost fat. Yes, you've lost weight. But understand that seeing those results, those biggest loser results, is not something that is sustainable. That's another show that I never really agreed with. They put something that is so unsustainable into place, putting them at unlivable calories for so long, and then having them work out. So basically they would do what we would call a net calorie. So basically what it is the calories that you take in, and then the calories you burn aerobically and anaerobically. Anaerobic being your weight training, and then aerobic being your cardiovascular work. So once you take calories that you've eaten, anaerobic and aerobic calories burned, you subtract from there, you're left with net calories. And your net calories, I would imagine, on a show like that, were in the negative. So as much as they praised how healthy they were, they really weren't healthy at all. I think it's something like 95% of all contestants have gained all the weight or most of the weight or more back. Those aren't very good statistics, in my opinion. If you take something gradually and slowly in the process and understand that it's not going to happen overnight, that's something that you're going to be much, much better off doing, and it's highly, highly sustainable in the end. But understand that if you want extreme results, you have to be willing to do extreme things. So if that means not having a cheat meal for 4 months because you want to see the stage and you are so out of shape, that's what that means. If that means eating the same meal 4 to 6 times a day, it's what it's going to take. So please, in the process, understand that you're going to have to do some things that you're uncomfortable with. Prep is uncomfortable. A diet is uncomfortable. Off season is uncomfortable. I was not comfortable at 252 pounds. I'll tell you that right now. Let's talk about both pictures, and let's talk about how I felt really, really quick. So obviously you see the first picture, I'm 238 pounds, I think. It's an astronomical amount of body fat. I felt sluggish. I felt run down. I had no energy. But guess what? In the picture that you saw on the right, I think I was maybe 2 weeks out of Central States. Guess what? I felt run down. I felt tired all the time. I didn't feel good, which kind of piggybacks off of my previous video. Stage lean is not comfortable. Okay? So please understand that. Please don't keep that as your goal. But I also want you guys to understand that if you want to do something, don't look at the end result first. Take small little baby steps in the process. If you take the small baby steps, you'll be able to get there in the end. And please keep moving forward in the process. Don't stop right then and there because you don't see your abs after 6 weeks because I read a book that was 6 weeks to abs. No. Keep moving forward. and you'll eventually achieve what you want to achieve. For that, have a great Wednesday. Talk to you tomorrow.